to actually get some points on Brazil. That would be the David versus Goliath battle right there.
Yeah, time investment will be a really big factor, seeing if Singapore will be able to win on picks. I feel like Brazil is going to stick to the high-speed maps in this selection just because it's something they're comfortable with. And having a level of comfort going into any type of ranked play or tournament play is a godsend. So if you're comfortable with the selection that's laid out in front of you, then you've really got an upper hand here.
At the same time, you also have to consider that, like, things do happen. Like, I'm just remembering the USA-Brazil match where USA just lost Rave 7 because of some choke at the very end. So, like, it can swing any way, which is what's going to make this match very exciting to watch. In any case, we're going to be heading into Singapore's warm-up, at least. I'm assuming this is Singapore's warm-up because I'm guessing this is the Singapore national anthem.
The national anthem, yeah.
Okay.
It is. This is an interesting chart. I'll let you guys see it for yourself.
Some inverses and shields already.
You're not. That's not it. Look at their scores.
Oh, what the heck? Wait, what? Is this OD10?
It is not. There's a lot of overlaps and ghosts.
Oh. What? Oh, this is a great map. I approve.
Okay, and that doesn't happen very often, but I actually saw some chat coming from the opposite teams.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah,
oh my gosh, I did see some P notes up in there.
Yeah,
that
there's
was
a lot of
great.
fake notes there.
That was a full fail from everyone.
So for people who aren't aware, there's something in Mania where if you edit the notes in the editor, like in a notepad or in the text file of the actual file, you can set it so that the note or long note endings start before the long note beginnings, and that just causes really weird things to happen, and that map had a lot of those apparently.
Yeah. Well, it's mainly overlaps and really, really weird releases. Yeah, but yeah, like those weird triangles, one shot a joke, like basically like fakes at this point. Like you cannot hit them.
I do believe that's actually a first though, for a full across the board fail on a warm up. Even though it's just a warm up. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, warm up, no biggie, but that was a full fail. All 6 players.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Thank you, Singapore, for making history, I guess.
All right, and it looks like we'll be going through their next warm-up, which seems to be Lika. I guess
1.2.
Pronounce that?
1.2, right? Crystallization. I believe this is an anchored jump stream run in the midsection. It's generally dense jump stream, if I'm thinking of the right difficulty. I think the easier difficulty, precipitation. This is crystallization, so it should be dense jump stream. Yep. This runs at 240, I believe, maybe 230.
All right, so right now it does look like Singapore has that early score lead on this warm-up. This one might have been theirs, and if not,
it's Brazil.
That is
Singapore's national anthem, I would think.
You would hope so, but you know, knowing Brazil, you never know what the warm-up's gonna be. I'm actually surprised it's a legit warm-up at this point. Usually we have something funny.
I'm a Singaporean compatriot, and I will just pick a Brazilian anthem anyway. Oh my god, those jump streams are nasty.
Yeah, as you can see, as it starts to speed up and there's more density, that's where Brazil really shines and they pick things back up. We do see consecutive drops from Silly Fangirl and Gil, but it doesn't look like it's going to do too much, as it seems Daniel Rock's Paralit and Orion are all kind of struggling with holding combo on these denser sections. That might be a little bit of an insight as to what we might see in the actual map. Well, match, not map.
Yeah.
It's the same time, you can't really equate. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's about 10:30 in Singapore, so I don't really expect them to perform all that well when it comes to speed. Like I don't think
AM or PM?
PM. like I don't recall any of these players playing this late. They usually play in the afternoon, like early evening. So the fact that like they're playing at a very unconventional time is a major disadvantage, at least from my experience when it comes to playing either too early or too late.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyways, there's like a
we
sweet
get
section.
into rules.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
We get into the rules. Daniel Rocks rules 57. Gil for Brazil rules an 86. And yep, you were right about what you said earlier. I'm not sure if you mentioned it on stream, but
I did
you
not
did mention that
earlier, but
Singapore was going to probably ban Apparition. Brazil coming right
Guilherme
back
with
with
Kamui.
ban.
Both long picks.
It looks like the little conversation we had before, like at the end when we were letting people know about the results of the Argentina versus Japan match. We were kind of saying that Absolution is, Apparition is something we probably won't see very much due to the long size of it, and it just being really hard. And this is the exact same bands as the first match to kind of give you an idea of what we might be seeing on our ban list throughout the weekend.
I'm rather surprised that like Dartfly Dreamer hasn't really been banned yet, but at the same time, I think Singapore versus Brazil and France versus South Korea are pretty. Well, I wouldn't say close. I'd say like Brazil and South Korea outclasses their opponent by quite a bit. So I expected similar bans, but I expected Singapore to like not use something like Vec Legendaria, for example, because I don't recall any of the players like Parallel and Orion. I don't think they can actually get a very good score on Vec Legendaria. But at the same time, like the morale thing when you play Apparition is really, really bad. Like if you lose an Apparition, you spend 8 minutes that you might be on a you might be on a swing, and then you lose all that momentum, and then that's just absolutely horrible.
You know, in all honesty, if we did see that map played, I would not be surprised. And I know it might make some people mad, but if it's very clear, like at one of the breaks or a section where you can very clearly tell you're done, you can't win, I would not be surprised to see players just not play and actually just fail outright, just to cut the time. Because playing 8 minutes, even on an uphill battle, like, yeah, there's a chance you might be able to pull back, but think of all that extra stamina you're burning at this point.
Yep. Like, stamina too. Even though the map isn't quite as difficult compared to like Red Legendaria or Bow Down Your Ignorant Fools, it's still very draining mentally and physically.
And like the mental fortitude to be able to read 8 minutes non-stop, constant scroll is... It sounds easy on paper, and even for our professional players, most of them probably can full combo it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's in a tournament situation, it just doesn't seem like something you really want to mess with, unless you're a really cocky team. If you really got the skill and you really think you can do it, that's a great way to get into your opponent's head. But outside of that, it's really something you probably want to stay away from unless you know you've got it.
Yeah, it's very daunting. It might be used as a coup de grace, but that's about it.
Yeah, I could see that. For some reason, I just have a very strong feeling that the U.S. might actually play that one just to be like, haha, we can.
Maybe.
You can't say guaranteed, obviously, but it just feels like a U.S. thing. If they're like up 4 points, I could see them going, hey, if we didn't ban this, why not? They've been pretty good so far through the cup to play the maps that don't get touched as much. The U.S. match actually finished out our pool getting a full selection last week, if I'm not mistaken. So we might see a repeat of that, maybe not. But it looks like
we're going to be heading into Sumo, and this is Brazil's first pick. They subbed in Felipe Lim for Andre MC because he is basically one of their LN players.
Yeah. Sumo starts with a very long slow jam. Like, it's about 0.8x, but this is a minute long. Can disorientate players quite a bit. Like, as you can see, Felipe Ling, Guilherme Zat, pretty much every player broke their double S almost immediately.
And surprisingly, Singapore actually has a very small lead at the moment, although that's still flickering and very up to what happens in this section. Orient State taking the first drop already.
Yeah, this is only going to get worse. Like, even like after the slow jam section, the longer just become way more daunting.
True, but man, this slow jam section's nice.
Yeah, it's pretty peaceful.
It's
Peaceful, but the releases are still really bad. They're like all over the place. Daniel Rocks and Orient State. Daniel Rocks again making drops. Actually, the whole
Parallel dropping on that really easy release there, just kind of getting a little bit mixed up in between his releases.
Yeah, I don't blame him. Like,
you're making
really
the
needed
Brazil.
Oh, like, don't get me wrong. There's no way I could do any of this. Like,
Alright, slow jam is stopping.
Yep, now we're going to pick up. The LNs are going to get a little bit longer here, but nothing too crazy. There are a lot of sections,
though. Anchor jumps while you're doing long notes, so it makes a little bit tough. However, oh man, Orient State is having a lot of trouble with this.
Yeah, not being able to keep his combo up that well, his accuracy dropping down to 97%. As we look on Brazil's side, you could definitely see what you were talking about earlier. It does look like they really have a higher grasp on things going on, as we do see a drop from Silly Fangirl, but it's really not anything that's going to be a big issue here, as Parallel and Orion are both dropping. It's not looking too good.
As far as I know, Orion mainly plays speed charts. He's not very adept with long note charts, so I didn't really expect him to do very well with this chart. And it shows. He has by far the lowest percentage of 96.5%, which isn't really bad, like in isolation. But if you're facing a strong team like Brazil, which has a slight specialization with long notes, it is not good.
Very much so. It does look like they managed to kind of pull back a little bit of momentum, but really the damage is already done at this point. Daniel Rocks being the only one that's holding a high combo for Singapore. Very impressive, 98.87% accuracy at this point. Does drop right there, seeing that kind of drop down. Gil also dropping, but Silly Fangirl and Felipe Link both keeping their accuracies around 98. Gil having the 99% on Brazil's side. Scores are relatively close. There's about 140,000 point difference, but it's not going to be anything with there only being about 15 seconds left in the song.
And surprisingly, Parallel's holding on very closely to where Gil is, who is also sitting, I believe, at the highest score of the Brazil side.
Wow, I'm actually really surprised.
Yeah. It looks like Parallel's actually going to take the highest score of this match, with Gil
really
and
interesting.
Then Daniel Rocks with the next highest.
I expected Daniel Rock to have the best score because of his O2 Jam experience. Or even Guilherme Zed, actually, or Felipe Link. But at the same time, I understand that Guilherme Zed and Felipe Link are also playing very, very early. It's about, what, 11:42 a.m. over there? And I think Guilherme usually plays in the afternoon or evening. Regardless, Brazil with the stranglehold practically, about 110,000 point difference. Guilherme with the 99, pretty much average accuracy of about 98.7%. Whereas Singapore doing pretty well, actually, just that Orion just couldn't keep up with the other players.
I can't tell what they're saying in chat, but it looks like Silly Fangirl might have sight read that.
Yeah. What am I doing?
Oh, all right, cool. It looks like we're going to be going through Love Love Whistle next.
Love Love Whistle, yeah. Love Love Whistle is probably Singapore's safest bet because this is like Love Love Whistle is a chart that all of the players in the Singaporean team can probably play through without any problem. It's just that the Brazilian team might have an accuracy advantage because they have stronger mastery of speeds like this because it's about 240 BPM jump stream, 300 BPM streams. All of these are no problem for Brazil. But for Singapore, I'm afraid about players like Daniel Rocks or Orion, for example. Who might not have the strongest grasp.
And this one's a jack of all trades map. In all
yeah,
honesty.
He has an inverse section too.
Yeah, so like being able to tackle all the things that you'd be looking at going into this stage. Good pick for Singapore. I do believe that this can work. But are they going to be more consistent than Brazil? And that's the real scary question there because Brazil has been on fire here. They might be known for speed, but accuracy is something they definitely can do.
It really comes down to Link and Silly Fangirl just not choking because Guilherme is generally pretty consistent. It just comes down to Silly Fangirl and Felipe just not choking, really.
Except Gil saying that they're both sight reading. Silly Fangirl and Felipe Link.
At least they're not sight reading Eagle in 440. Oh wait.
Are they?
Apparently
Are
Daniel
they
Rock
though?
side reading as well.
Singapore probably gonna pick that.
Like, pro tip, seriously look at the map rules before. Like,
Yeah, you get a whole
I
week.
feel like if Singapore had a good grasp on Love Love Whistle, they could like actually take this point. Because,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just so much easier to play songs once you know their structure, once you know what's coming up, than if you're sight reading. Like, if you're at a high enough skill, then yes, you can definitely sight read maps and do very well on this. However, these maps are at the point where it's like, there's going to be sections that are going to trip you up if you're not ready for them.
To be fair, I think Love Love Whistle is like on the easier side of the map pool. I don't think Felipe Link and especially Silly Fangirl should have any issue with sight reading this chart because there's nothing particularly daunting about the chart. There's no SVs. They're just hard. That's just easy, just fast swings really. But even so, like they can still trip up more than like say Guilherme is at. You have to see. All right. First hard part coming up pretty soon.
Everything looks pretty even at the moment, but that is very subject to change very quickly.
Yeah, incoming 1-8 burst section. Very variant performance from what we've seen. You're just hitting straight 200s at the time. Let's see what happens this time. Or Ryan with multiple drops.
Yeah,
Felipe
That is
Link having
unfortunate.
multiple issues.
it does look like Daniel Rock's also dropped there. Orion's just dropping really bad, looking like this is not a map for him. That is unfortunate.
This is the easiest. This is the hardest part of the map. However, I expect him to recover from here. I think his best is about 98.2.
Yeah, it looks like Felipe Link is hitting very late though. He's already dipping down to like a low 96 now, but he is recovering.
Ooh, yeah. Felipe Link's accuracy is what's giving that small window of hope to Singapore at the moment. If Felipe Link can hold combo, that's great, but if your accuracy doesn't stay above par, then that's going to open up a gate for Singapore to slide in.
This is going to be a problem because actually I know that Felipe Link was playing Mania to practice his speed for the finals map pool, but the problem is when he tends to transition back to Ultimate Mania, he tends to have massive accuracy issues, and as you can see right now, he is having massive issues. Like this peaceful comboing, but he has like practically close to 97%, where he should be getting close to like 99.5, pretty much on par with like Silly Fangirl.
The most interesting part about this is that Parallel is keeping up with the best of Brazil. He actually has the best score of this match, even beating out Silly Fangirl and Guilherme Ziad. Except Daniel Rocks and Orient State are holding up kind of the back. Felipe Link is really far behind everyone else right now. However, that score difference is... Oh my god, the score difference is going in Singapore's favor now.
Yeah, Silly Fangirl hitting that drop, Parallel being
Except
super
Orient State
on
is
point.
continually
Oh
dropping.
no!
For the lead,
A lot of drops going into that. Score difference is like probably like less than 20k right now.
Brazil back with the lead.
But not very high lead. If we see a drop on Silly Fangirl's side or any more accuracy drop on Felipe Link, we could see a score shift yet again.
Yeah,
It's going to come down to the wire here. Felipe Link dropping, but then Orion State also dropping as well.
I think Felipe Link's kind of centered now. I don't think he should be having any
it looks
major
like-
accuracy issues from now on.
Yeah, as you can see, the accuracy is slowly going up. There is a little bit of a drop on that long note section though.
Not enough though.
Oh no, here's the last section. It all comes down to this. Orion State drops again.
Orion drops again.
And that'll be it. Brazil takes the second point, breaking
that
some
was a
fortune.
close one, though.
Unfortunate. Parallel taking
only about-
still the best score of that match. Impressively done by him.
Oh wow, and actually, I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting Silly Fangirl to have a much higher score because of his accuracy advantage. Still really good performances from most of the players. Guilherme performing a little bit worse than I expected, but still 99% is ample for this round. Lemon Summer.
They're going straight to long notes over and over again. However, you did see how oh wow, I can't even remember the song names now. Sumo Wind went.
Yeah.
It was a little bit worrying. I think Score V2 has like a really big effect on things. However, Lemon Summer is much harder of a map, in my opinion, than Sumo.
They are. It is a much harder chart compared to Sumo Win. It's gonna be pretty brutal because like this is super long already. Like I say,
I feel like with at least players like Orion State, this might be a potential for failing even, which is really, really dangerous.
Yeah,
especially because Score V2 changes. Oh my gosh! So, for any of the people who are watching this and aren't aware, in Score V2, at least what we postulate is that for long notes, the beginning and ending have their own separate judgment count, as we're aware. However, they also have their own life. So if you miss the first part of the long note, you're not able to hit the last part of it. So therefore, you get 2 misses. So basically, you fail twice as fast if you're not good at long note maps.
even worse so, like there's this early miss function, and there's this tendency when it comes to long note charts to get an early miss rush. So you can basically like get an early miss rush, which is about 5 notes, and basically insta fail. It's kind of what happened to Adrian in a match against, I think it was Australia, I think. So really, like this is a very risky pick, and the fact that Brazil is picking this is a testament to how strong and how confident they are with their long note charts.
Very much so. That being said, we will be getting into this next match. Twitch chat, definitely get your support out for the teams you want to see win this. Do you want Brazil to make this a steamroll, or do you want Singapore to come back? Get your support out there. And remember, guys, you can pick up banners to support your favorite team, and if you pick up those banners, proceeds do go to the prize pool. And if you happen to support the winning team of this tournament, you will be able to hold that banner a little bit higher for a little bit longer, showing you supported the winning team. And that being said, let's get right into Lemon Summer.
Brazil is number 1. All right, root for Brazil. Yeah.
We actually see a lot of drops in that first section right there.
There's some really nasty patterns. Like there's a outside hold with an inside, or inside holds with outside trills, which is a very nasty pattern. Orion State not ripping in 10 seconds as he thought he was going to. He's still alive. Although definitely making the most drops out of everyone in this match.
Interlizer's patterning when it comes to long notes is very, very difficult compared to, let's just say, Sumo, for example. Like lots of one-hand throws, lots of ways to just lose balance and just trip up all. But like as you can see, Orion is just went under the S threshold. Really doing very, very good so far.
Oh, he's very close to failing out as well.
Yeah, that is. Like, I didn't actually expect to see failing be a possibility here, but it does look like failing. Oh, and there it is! His health went completely zeroed out.
I don't think so. I think he's still fine.
I didn't see it. Yeah,
you
fine.
Didn't see that?
Now it's 0.
Yeah. He definitely zeroed out.
Huh, I did not see
He can probably recover
one
here.
Yeah, he is slowly building. It does look like he's going to be able to make a recovery, though, no problem.
Silly Fangirl's score is pretty impressive so far.
Wow.
99.7 on Score V2, no less. Gilame doing okay. Daniel doing really good as well. Kind of not too surprising considering his O2GM background.
Oh no, Orion.
No, you can do it.
Oh, and he fails out at the goal.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is unfortunate, but that's going to be an easy win for Brazil there, as one of Singapore's members did fail. Whew, that is rough.
Even if Orion had a score comparable to Felipe Link, like Brazil just dominated Singapore. Like Silly Fangirl's score is insane. 99.65 FC, 977K. Gilame doing pretty good himself, like matching the best player
on this song, or any long note song of this caliber. But we have players of that caliber as well, so it looks like we're just going to continue seeing amazing scores continue throughout this week and throughout both of the finals week.
Yeah. I wonder what Singapore will pick next. Maybe Can Construction. I don't really see them picking any of the Fremont stuff.
I'd like to see Con Construction.
You would. He's not. Not. Felipe Link's not warm right now, apparently. Daniel. It'd be cool if he played Sapphire, but wishful thinking. Bow down, ignorant fools. Okay. Interesting.
Okay. Right.
That's an interesting pick to me because I know Daniel Ross is a 7-key player, and most 7-key players seem to have issues with like speed charts or charts that demand physical speed. And this is one of the hardest charts when it comes to the speed department. It's 150 BPM jacking, and I don't remember Daniel Ross having many scores that is comparable to Ignorant Fools. That's actually really good. So this seems like a suicide pick, unless they're banking on Felipe Link just hitting it too late.
I don't know, man. As watching this thing is like super bursty, and there's loads of jacks in this map. And I just don't. I feel like this is like common ground for Brazil, and
it is.
A suicide pick doesn't seem too crazy out of it, but maybe they practiced on this one. Who knows?
Look at Daniel. What he said that he can't even play the normal rate 1.0. This is a suicide pick. Like I know Felipe Link is more than fast enough. Silly Fangor and Guilherme are insane players who can probably bust through this chart on probably a 20% higher rate and higher speed. So like, it's weird. It's a really odd pick. Wonder who they're gonna place though, or did they disconnect? Andre, all right. Andre's pretty good at jacking and speed too. He recently got a 98.8% of Beck Legendaria, which is the hardest chart to pull, speed-wise at least. So it's a pretty good swap. I can see why they want to swap. Maybe Silly Fangirl isn't really feeling it. They should be going on the way pretty soon. Also, like, this is probably my favorite chart of the tournament. Like, no question so far.
I don't know. I mean, I like this song, but in terms of like playability for myself, I can't fully enjoy it due to the fact that I cannot roll my face across the keyboard that fast.
You just use your feet. You don't use your face.
Oh man, I wish there was actually charts you could attack.
Daniel Rock saying that he can't play the song in. Oh, never mind. He was holding the only FC of Singapore sided, so he wasn't able to.
He's getting really late.
Yeah. Felipe Link with the only FC, I think, remaining. Yeah. Except for the 98 accuracy.
Not too surprising. You can hold an FC on this chart no problem, but timing is completely different beast because you have a tendency to just fall back because this is really fast. This is 300 BPM or 150 BPM jacks. More bursts coming up. All the players doing pretty well so far. Like Danny Rock and Orion with about 98% average, the lowest of the bunch, which is still pretty good. And Brazil team having a generally 99% average, 99.3%, 99.4%. Not too surprising coming from them. I expected a bit higher from Guilherme, but I can understand why he isn't performing quite as well. Right, here comes the next set of bursts. Under even for them to drop. Orion dropping to compensate.
Ooh, yeah, we see drops from everybody. Yeah, Paralit actually going really hard in terms. I mean, the scores are pretty far, but not as far as I actually thought with them picking the speed pick on Brazil. I kind of felt that it was going to get a lot farther, but we do still have half a map, so anything is possible.
At the same time, if you like just go along the average consistency that every player has been showing in this match. Like this chart has pretty much hit its highs and lows, I think, in this whole thing. So it's a lot more of the same coming up. So it's gonna be really hard for Singapore to bring it back. They need like a complete catastrophe from Brazil.
Is hitting just fine, and that was my biggest concern because he seemed to be hitting late with Love Love Whistle, and he seems to be calibrated just fine now. Andre doing very good. Way better than I thought he would be getting. 99.1%.
Alright, as we get into the last like 20% of the song, it is looking excellent for Brazil as they have about a 200,000 point, well not 200,000, roughly about 150,000, yeah.
One more chorus.
Gil's score is just so much higher than everyone else on the team though at this moment in time. Andre is right behind Gil, but it's just not going to be enough. Orion's still in the 7K area, and it's just not going to be enough there. Paralit actually holding on par with the Brazil team, though. His score right up there with the Brazilian players.
Paralit has been performing exceptional so far. Like, he's doing way better than I expected. Like, I mainly saw him as an accuracy player, like probably on par with Orion, but you can see right now, Orion apparently just outclassing Orion Daniel. 98.9%, wow. That Brazil gets another point despite a very good performance from Singapore. 200,000, pretty much exact, 200,400. Dame with a very good score. Andre not too far behind for 99.09. Felipe Link also not too far behind, 98.7 with a very good miss count, 4 misses. Singapore doing pretty well. Orion and Paralit doing much better than I expected. Oh!
Heading into Sapphire. We've got our first free mod pick of this match. I wonder what everyone's gonna get.
I think all hard rock is the way to go.
Pretty much.
Unless Daniel, like maybe Daniel might have some issues with Sapphire. Like if he gets like 97 on Sapphire, he should be playing no mod. But I think he should be getting like mid 97, low 98. But I think like if you're facing a behemoth like Brazil, you might be better off just taking the riskier route. Is there going to be a change?
True. I mean, might as well put all your cards out on the table.
Yeah.
Probably bringing back in Nate on the Brazil side. Or Silly Fangirl.
Yeah, Silly Fangirl. What's with the weird jokes from this video? Oh! See? I'd be surprised. Oh, wow.
Incoming Abby, Autotelic, round company.
It's that mania player specializing in jump stream. A bit weaker in long notes, but overall, very consistent player.
Feels like right around my skill.
Yeah, he's about your skill. Actually, he might be a little bit better. Oh, that's how
like these 7.
No, shots fired.
What?
Nothing. He said he might be a little bit better than you. I was like, shots fired.
I mean, I'll acknowledge that. If someone's better than me, then they're better than me. I just need to keep getting better myself. And that's all that matters in this game, getting better yourself. You can compare yourself to other people, but in the end, it's just like your achievements.
Yeah, personal improvement the game. That being said, we will be getting into Sapphire in just a moment. We've got everybody in. The team swap is ready. Will Brazil be able to make this a clean sweep, or does Singapore have something in store for them?
Yeah, it looks like Daniel Rox is not playing Hard Rock, which I think is wise.
Not too Guess he's not too confident with this ability. I don't really blame him. I'm actually kind of curious as to how Autotelic Brown will perform because I mainly know him as a Stat Mania player, and his Ultimania scores have been less than stellar from what I've been expecting. So we have to see what he can do. I have full confidence of the other two players, however. Apparently, the first drop.
A very low scroll speed as well from Autotelic.
Yeah, he does play at a very slow scroll speed.
That seems like a scroll speed that's more my speed right there.
Actually, he's holding the lowest accuracy of this match. However, it looks like the Hard Rock mod, or the mod advantage for the Brazil side, is keeping them in the lead, and it's just going to keep accelerating this lead throughout the map.
Yeah, especially miss from Orion there, but Perlet and Daniel Ross are holding low.
First jump streamer, here we go. Autotelic with a full combo. Okay, he just dropped. I jinxed him. I'm sorry, babe. But yeah.
Autotelic Brown did drop, but it's not going to do too much as Brazil has a nice foothold in the lead here at the moment. Not to mention they do have 4 matches already won. Really, this is just putting Singapore in all kinds of the worst spot. In situations in tournaments, this is not a place you want to be. You're 2 matches away. You're a match away from an actual match point round, so you want to try to stop something. But what is really impressive is Singapore hasn't been. They're not being dominated. You know, they might not be winning these scores, but the scores are close. And like what we saw with previous matches last week, a single choke.
Look at late. What's
what
going
the heck?
on?
He's hitting everything really late.
Yeah.
Yeah, that accuracy drop might actually be an open window here. Yeah, 93%. Holy crap.
However, we're getting into the... Actually, he's hitting early in these sections now. I think it's just that his tendency to hit things late, at least in the faster things, is being magnified very greatly throughout the hard rock mod.
Yeah. I don't think there's much place for Singapore to cover at this point. The rest of the chart is really easy in comparison. And I don't see any of the players choking massively, really. Autotelic could drop, but not that much problem, really. How much is 70,000 point lead right now? Like, even Guilherme, Autotelic, and drops, it's too late.
And we're pushing the end of the song, and it looks like this one is pretty much over. What's interesting is Felipe Link did not even get an S on this because of that accuracy.
That is A-life all day.
I believe he could have gotten a much better score without Hard Rock.
Perlet score is actually really good. Like,
Perlet being the only player to break the 1 million mark, actually.
Look at all those yummy 200s on Felipe Link's side, though. 368.
1 mil soldier. 1 miss. Egoism. Oh boy.
Egoism incoming. Let's see.
Congratulations on your 3 points, Singapore.
I mean, it depends who they bring back in, or if anyone has.
Maybe Andre might have
decided to try it. I believe Felipe Link knows the song and has practiced a little bit.
Yeah. Back to Andre.
I mean, if you're gonna go out in style, right?
Yeah. This is a very good pick for Singapore, considering that Guilherme has actually said that Link and Nate did not practice the map for that much. And I think it's probably going to trip Link noticeably. I'm not too sure how much practice Singapore has put in, but given the fact that they've actually picked it, I think it shows a good amount of confidence on their part. If they actually picked it. Comes down to how much they practice, really.
Base kick.
I hope everybody's ready for the base kick. Are you ready for the base kick? I know I'm ready.
I'm ready for the troll long note SVs. That's what I'm ready for.
Can't wait for them. I just kind of want to see how badly Link and Andre and maybe, I don't know, maybe some of the Singaporean players will show. We'll see. Andre, the preemptive drop. Here comes the first stop section.
Daniel making the only person to drop. And then Parallel taking the next SD drop. But then everyone on the Singapore side and Felipe Link making drops on the last shorter SD. And that puts Brazil in the lead by a little bit. Looks like they've been putting it in practice.
I mean, drop, but not going to be enough. He can afford to make a lot more mistakes. Ryan's struggling with the jump jack section, triple jack.
This is, I think, the hardest part of the song.
It is. But here comes the next stop section. Easier one, though. Orion's still choking nonetheless, same with Daniel. Daniel actually 96%.
Base kick.
And there's pretty much no place to recover at this point. And considering that Orion and Daniel have issues with the first SB sections, I think they're going to have issues with this one. As it shows, Daniel is dropping, Orion is dropping.
And Daniel actually breaks the S there too. And that's going to be Brazil's 6th point in a clean sweep over Singapore. Brazil will be moving on in the losers bracket. And Singapore will be knocked out. Everyone, you know what to do. Press F to pay your respects to Singapore. Doing a very good job and putting up a really good fight against Brazil, though. Despite being a sweep, they still put up very good scores.
Yeah, Parallel especially. Very, very good job to completely surprise me. Orion and Daniel Rock's doing pretty good themselves, just not good enough compared to most of the players in the Brazilian team. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that being said, guys, it does look like that's going to be our match. We do have other matches starting up in just a little bit. Give me 1 second, I'll get that whole schedule set up.
We have one actually in 45 minutes, and that will be Canada versus Indonesia. Then following that will be Chile versus Poland. Then following that, for the last match of the day, or for the block, I guess, will be United Kingdom versus the United States, our other winners bracket encounter.
Oh, hype! I'm sorry, I'm a little hyped about that.
I think we're all united in that hype.
Oh, of course, so very united.
Yeah, we're gonna happen one day.
Yeah, that being said, guys, we have about...
United!
Feature, this is going to be the, Mania World Cup after show with Daiki. Just, you know, we're here all day.
Well, I'm here for a little while longer.
Yeah, that being said, while we're waiting for our next match, we will have open questions. You guys know the drill by now. If you have a question, let us know in the Twitch chat. We will answer to it. We have about 40 minutes till our next match. So what would you guys like to know? Anything that you could think of to ask the commentators about the tournament? Or if you have something personal to ask us, as long as it's respectful and safe for work, we will try to answer that to the best of our ability. That being said, what do you think about the matches so far? I'm a little underwhelmed, guys. Just a bit.
Well, at the same time, we're seeing all the top seeds going up against slightly lower seeds. The 3 teams, South Korea, Japan, and Brazil, they're all really, really strong, and they're all really scary. So, it's understandable that the scores themselves are clean sweeps at the moment. However, at the same time, you can't discount the other team's skill in getting this far in the tournament.
Oh, not at all.
is par for the course, really. Like, I think the next match, which is Canada versus Indonesia, I believe.
Yeah.
But-
And Twitch chat, define safe for work. I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. If you need a definition for it, then you probably shouldn't be asking whatever you're wanting to ask. And Camprox, you ask, is it possible for the stream to show a custom skin instead of the default one? I do believe that is possible, but I don't believe we've agreed on anything that would be better at the moment, and we want to try to stick with the default. Now, players are allowed to use whatever skin they want when going into the matches, but in terms of viewing rights, we just kind of keep it to the default skin. That may be subject to change later on, but as of right now, there are no plans that I know of to switch that up.
There will never not be the default skin showed on the World Cup streams.
Yeah.
What that default skin is will probably change, but it will always be
Later.
the default skin.
Another couple questions. There's probably going to be a not 6-0 score today because there's that United match that's coming up that's going to be pretty intense, I think. And also,
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to be moved to the tournament server to spectate unless you're part of the teams that are actually
Yeah.
there.
You cannot just get a free ticket into the tournament to spectate. As like Daiki said, you do have to kind of be a part of the team.
Yeah.
And congratulations to our lovely showrunner Locktab for getting the United joke only 10 minutes after we said it.